Hey, I'm feeling a little depressed right now. Tell me how awesome I am. Make me feel better.
Hey, Steve, let's pump you up a bit. You're an absolute rock star. You're a successful entrepreneur, podcaster, philanthropist, and book author. You've got a fantastic family filled with talented and ambitious individuals. And let's not forget your tight knit friendship with Don Merrick, where you bond over makers, mark bourbon shots at Cassidy's Bar and Grill. You're kicking butt in all aspects of your life. Don't forget that.
Uh,
Oh, I love this.
yeah, right. I know somebody turned me on to that one. I was like, okay, this is cool. Uh, anyway, where were we? We went down a rabbit hole. Oh, yeah, AI can be harmful, but let's make sure it's making people feel good too and feel positive and be a buddy. So yeah, where will we all be on universal basic income and have a life of abundance? I don't know. Before we move off of this topic, I would say, I think what I'm worried about is the short term. I actually think long term we'll figure it out.
Yes.
It's this immediate short term where we have to go through all this transition and there will be job loss and change. And so it gets really messy during this short period where it's like, oh shit, and all this is happening. While we're trying to figure it out, I see problems.
Yeah.
I think eventually we figure it out, but short term, I'm worried.
Yeah. And I think too, I mean, I think do you have kids?
Yes,
Yourself?
they're all grown. They're all grown, but yes, yeah, four
Yeah.
of
I
them.
mean, I have an 8-year-old. So when I look at her and I think about her future and like, I think about the amount of social media, I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't have that as a
Oh,
teenager. Oh my God. I'm like, I can't even imagine. Ashton Kutcher did a TikTok on it saying how back when he was a star when he was younger, you could go out and nobody knew. And it's like
yeah,
by the time
this is great.
right? Like right now it's like they know exactly when you left. They're
Oh,
videoing you if you get too drunk or whatever. And like
oh,
that
God.
is then stamped on the internet for your employer to find 10 years later. I
Yes,
like
yes. Holy
that to
cow.
me is where I'm like, wow, like this is I feel like we've tipped the scales. Like this was supposed to be originally like Facebook was just supposed to be fun. Like right? Like now it's like this
Uh,
tracking of humans and yeah. So that to me as well, I feel a little bit worried for like my daughter
yep.
going through this. Like how do you equip these people and especially when you didn't live it yourself, right? I'm like I didn't go through these things. I don't know. I'm going to be making this up. So
So speaking of your 8-year-old daughter, is that, do you each have one child and are you married? What's your family situation?
I have one kid. I am not married. I have
Okay.
a life partner boyfriend that in my life and yeah.
Okay, great. So the one child, let me ask you, because this is interesting. This is a good challenge. This is my new challenge. I like to ask people this. If she brings home homework and she wants to use ChatGPT to get some answers and complete it, are you okay with that?
Probably not. It probably depends. Like probably for me, I'm like, I want her to learn, right? There's value in learning on your own and figuring out problem solving.
Okay.
I think where it gets a little sticky is if part of the problem solving is doing it faster on ChatGPT. I don't know if I would fully discourage that as the solution, depending on what the homework is. If it's you need to learn how to write and then ChatGPT does the whole thing, that's a disservice to you. But if you have a big math problem and you need to figure out a few little things to get to the bigger science project and this will make it go faster, maybe that's better. So I guess it would depend on the what
Okay.
you're doing.
Okay. Here comes the challenge. You ready for this? Okay. So is it okay for her to have a calculator to do math? Or do you want her to do long division, handwritten math on paper, or can she use a calculator?
This is a good question.
You
This is
see
a
where
good
you see where
yeah.
I'm going, right?
It's a
Yeah.
tough one. They told us
Is it okay for her to use spell check on Microsoft Word?
well, yeah.
See,
I
people go to, I've heard people say this, right, in their minds that, they're like, well, ChatGPT is kind of like cheating or whatever. I'm like, okay, well,
What is
If you
it?
want to eliminate AI, let's go all the way back to all these other tools we're using that we now think are fine. But
Yes.
because this new tool is so big and new and scary, we've haven't decided whether or not it's okay to use it. Something, and I see that, and I'm like, somebody told me that the other day. They said, well, I would never use ChatGPT to enhance my resume, and I said, but it's okay to pay a resume writer like another human being to enhance it. That's okay.
I'm with you. I feel like if there's a tool that can make me faster and better at my job,
Bingo.
why not? Why not?
That's exactly how I feel. You just summed it up on the way I feel. And I heard a guy say this on the other podcast. He said, the way he said it was, he said, if there was a tool that could make you more intelligent and faster and more efficient, why wouldn't you use it?
Exactly. And I think it does get a little stickier with learning. Like I do want my daughter to be able to think and like do a
Be able to
basic math
think.
problem, but like it's more about the figuring out, learning how to problem solve rather than like if ultimately the tool is going to do it better and faster, put her brain to this problem instead of that problem, right? Like,
And I think,
so
to move away from that topic, to wrap that one up, because I want to ask you about another topic. I think what's going to happen is it's going to be who can ask the best question. I think it will be who's got the creative mind to ask AI the next question. And okay, let me prompt you. And so it's that creative young lady, this is the creative 8-year-old that can ask the next best question to get the next best answer. Even, you know what I mean? I think, but anyway, all I know is we are living in a fascinating time. It's really unbelievable.
it's and I've always been a big fan of technology. I'm usually like more on the early adopter side. I
Yeah,
like
me
to
too.
like
Me too.
something's cool, I want to download it. And a lot of the organizations I've been at, I've launched the initial Instagram, Snapchat, live stream. Like I'm the one who's doing those things because I love it. I think
Yeah,
it's
me
really
too.
interesting
I
to
will
see.
say the first time I used ChatGPT, I don't know if you remember the first moment you used it, but the first time I opened it up and I used it, I called my co-founder, Scott, Scott that works with me, Scott Kegris. I called Scott. I'm like, holy fucking shit. Like, I'm scared.